Good morning. It's quite early for me to be live, isn't it? 9:45 in the UK. What's going on? Guard dog. You come here, please. This is his way of letting me know that he wants to be up on the couch with me, of course, because I'm about to go live. It's like literally every single fucking time now. Say hi if you're here live. We're going to have a quick riff and then I'm out. Mic drop. Come here, you. Say hello to the people. Hi. Oh, God. You smell good in that weird doggy kind of way. Anyone else sniff their dog? Sometimes I sniff his little paws. Like I actually sniff and kiss the bottom of his paws, and my boyfriend's like, "You might walk through shit, Noelie." I'm like, "I don't care. I don't care. I like to kiss his juicy little paws." Right. Here's what I want to talk to you about today. The message is actually very simple that I want to share. That doesn't mean I won't talk about it for 3 hours. in my typical Noelie way, like I'm just coming up for a quick live stream 3 hours later. But the message is really very simple, and it is goosebumps. I'm being very self-indulgent, and I'm just letting the energy of the message like percolate in the cells of my body because it feels really good. It's like yum. Anyway, this benefits for you because then you get to feel even more of the juice of it when it comes out in words. The message is really that when you stop focusing on what if this happens, what if that happens, what if this goes wrong, what if that goes wrong, when you stop focusing on that and you shift to what if that happens? What if that happens? Oh my God, what if that happens? Right? Energy's already moving. Do let me know if you're here live. Let me know how this is resonating in the cells of your body. Like I really want you to, even though this is a spontaneous live stream, my ears popped. Ugh. Water element stuff. Sometimes the path feels blocked, or we feel like we can't see the way forward. And this is literally what I just received through that little ear moment. It's like your ear is blocked, but now that it's cleared, everything sounds so much brighter. And it's an interesting thing that happens to us when we've experienced resistance of some kind, or like as Abraham Hicks would call it, contrast. When we experience contrast, or a way of feeling in the body, or an experience in our physical reality that doesn't feel like this is exactly what I want, sometimes it can feel like completely the opposite of what we want. It helps us gain clarity on what we actually want to be asking for a start. And it also allows us to start, if we choose to start playing in the realm of what if. And we are going to do this regardless of whether we are, a business owner or not. We're going to do this as humans because we like to make plans, right? We like to have things to look forward to. We like to feel like we're kind of moving towards something. Humans generally really enjoy the feeling of positive momentum, like stuff's happening, I've got traction, stuff's happening, I'm moving. This is often why people get trapped in the busyness trap, because when they feel busy, they feel like they're doing something, they're achieving something. They feel this sensation of like, my life is not a completely fucking meaningless ball of chaos, And so we kind of seek control, or seek this feeling of, really being in the physical, and often we create that sensation of being in the physical through creating resistance and struggle and patterns of like, oh, I need to figure this out and fix this. But the same is also true of when we're deeply in our pleasure and when we're really enjoying life and being playful and having like positive imaginings. Those things can also create connection with the physical. But we've just kind of, I think a lot of us as humans have just got used to, we don't like feeling disconnected. We don't like feeling like we're not connected to ourselves, the universe, the people around us, connected to a mission or a purpose. We don't like that feeling, not being connected to our creativity or whatever it is. We don't like it. We like to feel connection, helps us to feel grounded. So what we're really searching for always is a sense of grounding, safety, being deeply embodied in this physical self. And this has been a real journey for me, particularly as somebody who is a fire constitutional factor. So like just like consciousness wandering around in physical form. I'm also a 6-2 in human design. So I have a lot of like higher, bigger picture, like I'm seeing all of the things all of the time. And then I'm trying to like be in my body at the same time as like witnessing everything from a bird's eye view. So it's like that duality of being able to see everything on an energetic and big picture level whilst also being deeply connected to this physical experience right now in this now moment, in this physical experience I'm having in this body. So riding that wave of that duality and finding a place of being able to balance the two out has really been a journey, and I think it will continue to be a journey for maybe even for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with that because I continue to navigate it better and better and better, and I get quicker and quicker and quicker at reconnecting to the source of who I really am at my core. So when we look at this idea of, am I focusing on what if it all goes wrong and planning to avoid feeling pain, avoid things going wrong, feeling disappointed, what if it doesn't work? Well, I better put all these measures in place to safeguard me, coming from that place of lack and not feeling no trust, no faith, just complete like I need to control everything? Or am I also allowing myself the freedom and the expansive inquiry into this what if? What if it all goes right? What if the reason that things aren't working in the way that I think they should, like linear ABC 1 2 3 stacking in a very linear fashion, like I've been kind of programmed to believe life is meant to be this climbing up the ladder, you know, like climbing the property ladder, climbing your career ladder. It's always this like, there's a step that you take, there's a hierarchy that you naturally are meant to be, you know, desiring to climb this pyramid or whatever. And it's like, what if that isn't actually the fucking case, and it's more about like sidestepping and hopping and jumping from one, I used to like these little lily pads. What if I'm just meant to be like bum 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 boing? And sometimes a move to someone externally, your big move forward or up or into your next level, to someone else might look like a sidestep or going backwards, and they're like, what the fuck are you, why would you do that? But when you know deeply inside of you that this is the move, you know, of course this is going to expand me. Of course this is going to call in and help me embody that next level self that I know that I am, to deepen this relationship and peel back the layers of who I am at my core, right? So you don't need other people to understand the non-linear path that you have chosen to live. You just get to trust yourself more and follow those nudges. And when we start to play the what if game, in terms of like, what if it could all go right? When you find yourself going, what if, and like catastrophizing or like self-doubting or lack of confidence or whatever it is that you're experiencing in that like quote unquote negative momentum space, what if you caught the what if and saw like, oh, okay, my body wants to be in questioning right now. My mind is like, it's built some momentum in the questioning. So if I was to just try and cut myself off from questioning, it would feel like I was like creating even more resistance, and then I'd feel even worse. So rather than trying to like stop the momentum of your mind that wants answers and wants to find problems and wants to, you know, like kind of mentally masticate, you know, chew things, rather than trying to just like cut that off and be like, no, stop, right, redirect, and like yanking the reins on the horse and being like, let's go this way. If the horse is fucking running and it's galloping and it's getting faster and faster, if you pull the reins, you're going to fall the fuck off and probably break something. If the horse is galloping and it's galloping in this direction and you're like, what if, catastrophize, what if you just gently started to nudge and pull the rein? I'm like holding the reins. I used to horse ride when I was a kid. It's still like in my body. You know, what if you then like, okay, cool, I'm going to relax. I'm going to be on this ride. Yeah, okay, negative momentum. And then I'm gently just going to start to ease the horse, ease my thoughts, ease the momentum. Because I've gathered so much momentum. Imagine if I had this much momentum in the opposite direction. You know, like, and I, you know, people, when they talk about, I've been having some interesting experiences around money and like really expanding, understanding how like millionaires and fucking multimillionaires and billionaires invest and how they look at things like debt and how they look at like spending money. And it's been like expanding my perception of money in ways that I didn't even really realize that I could fully feel into. Like I didn't even understand these concepts, and these things have been brought into my awareness through the circles that I'm currently part of, because I'm part of these masterminds with these amazing fucking multimillionaire women, and just it's like it's like mind altering and life changing to just be around these women, because it helps me to see and experience like, oh, we all have stuff to move through, these thoughts, these doubts, all this stuff. Like it doesn't go away necessarily, you just navigate it differently, you don't let it take the wheel. It's been really fascinating to allow myself to kind of calibrate into these new spaces and just like fully take my seat at the table and be like, I am here, I want to learn, I want to integrate, I am excited to be on this journey with all these amazing fucking women and like claim my place as one of them. And it's a bold move. I think some of us are afraid to take our seat at the table and actually claim that we are one of those women. Like even, I think for a lot of people, because I do a lot of money work with people, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and artists who are building their art businesses, and to start to think of yourself as someone who is worthy, deserving, already able to stand their own and be at that table with these other people who have, really all it is that they have different physical results. That's all it is. They just have a different level of mastery in certain areas. Excuse me. They just have a different level of mastery in different areas, from bringing things energetically, spiritually, emotionally into like from this idea, this nebulous idea of the quantum field. They have different levels of mastery in different areas around manifesting that into physical reality. So really, it's less about what's the strategy, how can I learn, what did they do, and more about like, how are they thinking about money, how are they feeling about investing, how are they navigating those more difficult to navigate emotions with, like, you know, are they finding it easy, are they not finding it easy, and why and how is that not impacting the money that comes into their business. And learning to calibrate into that frequency by being around these women is fucking game changing. So I'm very excited to bring this into my coaching and my podcast, and as I'm like elevating and expanding, as I invest in myself, I understand more and more now that the more I lean into these containers that I have, you know, that I've signed up for, that I've paid into, that I have chosen to take a seat at the table, and now I'm fully sitting at the table like, fuck, this is amazing. Like when you finally allow yourself to fully just go, yeah, fuck, I'm in, like jumping into the ice cold water Wim Hof style, and just like let yourself calibrate. You know, it's like I was watching a documentary about Wim Hof, or like a season, there's a thing on the BBC at the moment about Wim Hof. So my boyfriend and I started watching it, and it's like, when those people jump into the water, it was so fascinating to see. Some of them jump into the ice and they're like, there was one woman and I was like, oh, she's a control freak. My boyfriend's like, what do you mean? Like, how do you even know that? Like, because she's trying to control, and I'm like, yeah, and I see myself in her, so like, I get it. She's a reflection of my control freak, right? She was jumping into the ice water, getting that and the external conditions, the impact on the nervous system, she was like, I have to try and regulate my breathing, and I'm not going to be in my body, right? The people who adapted the quickest to being in the icy cold water were the ones who just went and like let the cold in. They became the cold. They let themselves like oh, goosebumps. And so that's basically what I've been doing with these masterminds that I'm a part of currently. And this is what happens when people dive into my world, and I'm now allowing myself to calibrate into this new energetic sphere, this new expansion, which means that everyone who's in my field, everyone who then opts in to work with me, whether it's in the portal, whether it's in the wealth clearing, whether it's in the desire codes, whatever it is, anyone who gets into my field right now is going to upgrade like an absolute motherfucker, because I am in that expansion. And it's like this, like, you know, like one of those mushroom clouds in an explosion. It's just like, and I feel how enveloping and like deep and like invigorating and activating this is going to be for all the people who are working with me right now. I'm so fucking excited. Life is exciting when you choose it. So rather than being in, I just keep like dancing around and coming back. I can't see comments, by the way, so if you guys are commenting, I hope you are, because I love to go back and read and like have conversations with you, but they're not showing right now. So if I'm not ignoring you, I'm literally just like not seeing comments. It's very annoying, but I guess that's as it's meant to be. Oh, as I said that, the comments start coming. Of course they do. Hey Sheb, hey Dale, oh, I love to see you. Hey Justin, mwah, mwah, mwah. Such a long time. So let these comments catch up. So funny. As soon as I comment on the comments not being there, they start popping up. Thank you, Facebook, for being deeply intuitive and probably highly invasive. But when it works in my favour, I'm down. So just to come back to where I began, when we allow ourselves to gallop, gallop, gallop in this direction, holy fuck, I'm going in a direction that really doesn't feel good. It's taking me into catastrophe. And I was thinking about this in regards to, I've had some conversations with people recently about debt, and like, my view on debt is, I don't really resonate with the word debt anymore. It doesn't really, it used to be something I was very afraid of. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I did a 5-day free program on money, which, by the way, is on YouTube. You can go, if you find my channel on YouTube, there's a 5-day series of money stuff that I did a few years ago, and it still stands. It's fucking amazing. And that was when I think that was the first year I navigated. I had actually gone into, again, like, it feels so weird to say it, I perceived myself to be in a place of being in debt because I had some money on a credit card, I think. Yeah, it was on a credit card, and I had no savings, and I borrowed money from my boyfriend, so that kind of felt like a debt as well. And I actually speak you through the process of how I navigated my mindset and my energetics on that back then. And now I see things so differently because of being at the table with all these fucking incredible women who are like in multi-million businesses and understanding how they invest and how they do things. I'm like, I don't even feel like the word debt even resonates with me anymore, and it's been really fascinating. So when I think about, because I'm obviously doing a lot of money work at the moment in this wealth clearing that's coming up tomorrow, and I'm upgrading my finances, so I'm like, holy fuck, like there's this whole new realm of stuff that I never even thought to look at before. And I started to think like, oh, I kind of remember feeling like, when it always feels like when you're in debt, or when you are accruing debt, or whatever you might perceive yourself to be in, and you're like galloping that horse, it can sometimes feel like you're galloping towards something. Or another thing that maybe is more relevant to me in my recent journey is like gaining weight, right? Like, oh, you know, a few years ago, like 2 years ago when I started this, maybe even 3 years ago now, wow, such a long time, when I felt very overweight, I felt very unhappy with my physical shape, because I knew that my physical and external shape was a representation of something that was in dissonance inside of me. Same way I feel about everything. If there is something going on with my body, in my relationships, if there's something going on in my finances or my business, I go, what's happening inside? Where am I holding the frequency that is an energetic match to what I'm currently creating in my physical reality? Like, this is not me spiritually bypassing shit. This is literally how I live my fucking life. So when I talk about this stuff, that's why people are like, oh, ping, 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 having the shifts, because this is what I actually do. This is how I live my life. This is not just something that I'm like, I pick up and put down. This is how I navigate life, is through creating and cultivating the internal landscape that then receives whatever it is that you're seeing in my physical reality. So when I started to think about this like horse galloping towards it, maybe it's like financial stuff, maybe it's towards, you know, like, oh my God, chaos in a relationship, or it's like gaining weight and I can't stop emotional eating or something. It's like, oh, the horse is galloping in that direction. If I try and just stop it and get off, I'm going to hurt myself. What if I just start nudging? What if I use the momentum of the what if this never stops? What if I can't? And what if I can? Like, what if like pulling that rein, like, okay, cool, yeah, like I see all of this catastrophizing and chaos and emotional fucking drama that I used to love to get myself into because it felt like I was like having a human experience. Fucking hell, man. We really do a number on ourselves, don't we? Like, we really fucking do a number on ourselves. And what if I just started like using that momentum and just went, ooh. And effectively that's what I did when I went from having that debt 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a while ago, a few years ago, to then creating my first six-figure year in my business. Like, how fucking amazing is that? Sometimes I forget how fucking amazing that is because it's just so normal to me now that that's what happens in my business, and that's why that's my journey. Like, I've navigated it, I've done it, I've integrated it, so it's like, yeah, sure. But when I think about it in this term of like the negative momentum that I had managed to build up, and the way that I just kind of seamlessly redirected that momentum into creating wealth and creating financial income and money coming in, and like to the point where I was not just in profit, but like I paid off all of those debts like within 2 weeks. Once I really decided, it was like within 2 weeks I was selling out programs. It was just like boom, 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 and all this momentum that I'd created in this oh fuck, because of how fucking in tune I am with being able to redirect that momentum towards what I actually want to create in my life. That created my first six-figure year all those years ago. So regardless of where you are right now, if you're feeling like you are gathering speed and momentum towards the outcome that you don't want, and you're finding it hard to like shift your focus back to the thing you want because you're so stuck in that momentum, what if you start playing with what if, and you just literally start gently guiding those reins back round and navigating like, yeah, so what if it doesn't work? But what if it does? Oh, what if I spend this money, it doesn't come back? But what if I spend this money and it comes back fucking 10 times? The universe is always wishing to support you, is always coming in to deliver what you need and what you've asked for. So rather than continually focusing on, and if you're focusing on it, you are asking for it, right? If you're focusing on lack, if you're focusing on the weight gain, you're focusing on the relationship breakdown, you're focusing on the money not coming in or going out or whatever it is that you don't want, if you're focusing on that, that is what you are asking the universe for. And when you start to really understand that your words and your focus are what create, they're what weave the magic. If you imagine yourself as Harry fucking Potter, you are your own magic wand, right? Imagine you've got a magic wand inside of you, and when you start not just looking at something, like you can look and dance with ideas, like there's nothing wrong with that. It is when you are literally boring down into something and you are unable to, or you feel unable to shift your focus, that's when you've got to give yourself a bit of a bitch slap. And remember, I am literally creating more of this because I'm staring at it. I'm fucking staring at it, and I'm saying it's what I don't want. But the universe, my subconscious, my energetic frequency inside of me doesn't understand the negative. It doesn't understand negative context. It doesn't understand I don't want. If you are looking at something, if you are focusing, if you're fucking staring at something, everything inside of you aligns for you to receive more of that. And it is a discipline. I say I'm not really one for discipline. I'm not really one for commitment or willpower. This is one area of my life where I have cultivated very good discipline. And it is, I often think of like commitment, consistency, discipline. Those kind of words can feel very masculine and like pushy and like contractive in my body. So I tend to think of it more like a devotional practice. I am devoted, and I have a devotional practice to cultivate my internal frequency, thoughts, behaviors, moods, emotions, everything to align with what I actually desire to receive in my life. Do I sometimes focus on what I don't want? Sure as shit I fucking do, because I'm human as fuck and I never want to stop being human as long as I'm in this physical body, right? And part of the human experience, and particularly the life of a six line, because you know, we have to make all of the mistakes before we get to like 50, so that when we get to 50, we are like the complete pillar of absolute wisdom. I'm not quite 50 yet, people. Not quite yet. I am going to be 39 next week, but I'm not quite 50. I've got a few years left. So, knowing what I know about how all of this shit works is so easy for me to remind and guide my clients through these processes. And it is a delight. The word that comes through is like, it's just pure, just delight and like pleasure and just appreciation and gratitude when I get to wake up each day and go into my Telegram on my phone and be like, right, what have you got for me today, people? And know that I'm getting to guide people back into their highest alignment to create fucking magic in their lives, and not just in their lives, but in the lives of everyone around them, because they're so committed and to their devotional practice of cultivating their internal frequency to align with what they want to create in their life. They become, my palms are so hot right now, they become an inspiration for everybody who comes into contact with them. So it doesn't really matter what walk of life you are currently in. When you do this internal work, when you take it, I want to say when you take it seriously, but when I say seriously, I mean, you know, life is too short and too important to be taken seriously. For me, part of the devotional practice is being able to do this very deep, emotional, spiritual, mental frequency, energetic alignment work whilst maintaining levity and, you know, benevolence and just playfulness. And that doesn't mean we are in that frequency all the time. Of course we're not. Like, again, human as fuck. It's not about trying to be like love and light all the time. Sometimes we will get dragged into the fucking darkness to confront a part of ourselves. And it is always about being more compassionate. It is always about deepening our level of acceptance, compassion, and love for ourselves. And once we really harness that, once we understand that we're taken into the depths of our own inner darkness to face those parts of ourselves and to fucking love them. To love them in the way that we wanted to be loved as children, in the way that, yes, maybe we felt loved, and maybe we look back and we go, yeah, I came from a loving family, but you know, that deep, like, held in the frequency of our love. That's different. That's where the fucking healing work is, man. It's not about being light, love, positivity all the time. It's about focusing on what you want. It's about doing this gradual, micro moment realignment of thoughts and behaviors and beliefs. Always making that what you are devoted to. And noticing where in your life you say you want something, but you are still more committed, more devoted to the old pattern, the pattern that says you're not enough, the pattern that says you don't deserve it, the pattern that says you have to work harder, that you have to be this, that, or the other and achieve blah, 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 and get this certificate and that certificate, and you're not good enough. Are you more committed to that old bullshit story, or are you more committed and in devotion to the part of you, the higher self, the inner being part of you that knows that there is so much more available to you? And through you just being here on this fucking planet at this moment in time, that is what makes you worthy. That is what makes you deserving. And to the point where worthiness and deserving don't even fucking come into it anymore, because it just is. You just are. Right? What you want, just, it's inevitable. Because it's what you're on this planet to create, not just for you, but for everyone. When you create something and experience it fully for yourself, you become an example, you become permission, you become inspiration without even fucking knowing it. I get people messaging me I didn't even know were watching saying, you're so inspiring, thank you for being you, thank you so much for showing up as you. And I'm like, my pleasure. Literally, my fucking pleasure. Thank you for following the inspiration that you felt when you watched me. And that is all I have to say today. If you want to come and join me and a group of other amazing badasses tomorrow at 11 a.m. for 2 hours, we're doing a wealth clearing intensive. We are going to be talking about wealth in a whole new way. We're going to be talking about it in a way that only I know how to. And we're going to be doing a lot of clearing work to really activate through my transmission and then go in and remove and dissolve the energetic and emotional blocks that are keeping you from fully being open and available to receive what you know is fucking meant for you when it comes to money. And not just money. Remember, money, not just money. Don't know why I went Welsh there. Not just money, but don't. Sorry, Welsh people, if that was terrible. I think it was okay. It's a certain place in Wales where they talk like that, right? Anyway, back on track, Georgina. Choo-choo, train of thought. If you want to come, be activated, bathe in my transmission, and come and join us for the wealth activation, then the links are all over the place, but I will also drop it in the subject line here, or you can just message me if you want it before I get round to dropping it here. And also, I have one-to-one space availability right now, either for access all areas, all of the fucking things, the big daddy of my programs where you get access to everything. You get access to me through calls, Telegram, you get access to the portal, any programs that I run between now and the end of our time together, you receive access to everything. Okay, so if that's for you, let me know. That is a multiple 5-figure investment for 3 months minimum. This is for people who are really looking to either build to 6 figures or go beyond. So you're feeling like you're playing in the realm of wanting to create 6 figures. And here's the thing, it doesn't actually matter where you are right now. All that counts is that you know inside of you there is a deep fucking yearning and a desire and a longing for this. You know that it's your destiny. And maybe you're already playing in the realm of 6 figures and you're thinking, I know there's a piece here. This fucking crazy curly bitch has a code. She has something. There is something in her aura, her frequency, the way she speaks about things that I know is the thing that's going to get me to unlock the parts of me that need to be opened up to receive my next level. And the people who work with me understand it is not about the fucking money. We're not going to sit down and do a fucking financial plan or a strategy. We are going to look at the energetic strategy. We're going to look at how you're showing up for yourself every day, how you're showing up for your business. We're going to look at your relationship with yourself and your business. We're going to deepen your connection with who you are at your core. Your fucking, the blueprint that you were dropped into this planet with that lives inside the cells of your body. We are going to fucking clear all the shit out of the way so that you are literally finding what is hardwired in your system that you've just forgotten about or that you know is there, but we just need to clean the energetics and the emotional side up so that you can stand more deeply in the power of who you came onto this planet to be, because you're here to make an impact and it's fucking time that you did the work you're meant to be doing. Stop letting all the bullshit stories cloud your judgment and make the decisions for you. And if you're not quite there and you're feeling like, I do want to work with her, but I'm not sure that that level of access is either necessary or required for what I want to do next, or maybe you're just like feeling. If you're like me, like I love to have calls, but I also really like just having access to somebody on something like Voxer or Telegram. So you will know what is right for you if you want to come and do this deeper work with me. It'll either be the fucking, yes, I want all the things, I want access to you, I want calls, I want everything, give me all of the juice. Or maybe you're feeling like, actually, where I am right now, what would really be beneficial is just having you in my pocket and being able to like go, blah, what do you see for me? What is channeled for me? What can we clear here? And just work with me on Telegram. Maybe you don't even feel that you desire. It's not about need. It's really about, do you desire to have those calls and that, if it, being able to access me in that way? Or are you just like, actually, what I really want is to just have you in my pocket and just be on Telegram with you and be able to be in conversation with you? You know what you want. You know what you need. You're an empowered human being. And if either of these things are resonating with you, I am so deeply fucking excited to do this work with you. I'm in a massive growth phase right now, and I can feel that I'm like getting sucked through this portal, this vortex, and I'm like, right, who's fucking coming? Let's go. And if that's you, drop me a message. If you want to come and join the Wealth Clearing Intensive, either pop me a message or just grab the link that I'm about to pop up there. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to know in the comments below what you are taking away from this, what it made you feel, what it brought up for you. Tell me the things in the comments. I will come back and check them later when they all magically appear. Facebook apparently just wanted me to talk at you today. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Bye.